Merry Nightmare Before Christmas. Today we're making Jack Skellington sugar cookies from the delicious Disney Holidays Cookbook. I will add the cookbook and everything used to make these cookies with the links below. These spooky cookies are a sweet homemade treat for Halloween or Christmas. The recipe gives instructions on how to make your own cookie dough and icing from scratch. I'm super excited to make these cookies. Let's go! First, we're going to start by making the sugar cookies. In a medium bowl, we're going to combine the flour, baking powder, and salt. Whisk all of these ingredients together, then set it aside. Using our favorite mixing droid, we're going to combine the butter and sugar. We're beating these up on low until they are of a smooth consistency. At first, we used the wire whip attachment, and then after a few minutes, we switched to the flat beater attachment. It just felt like this attachment was made for the dough or something mystical. While the mixer's on low, we're adding in 2 eggs along with the vanilla extract. Once the eggs and the vanilla are mixed in with the butter and sugar, then we get to start adding in our dry ingredients. We're slowly adding in the flour and baking powder while the mixer is still on low. Once you've added in all of the ingredients and everything is mixed well, then the dough needs to be placed in the refrigerator for at least an hour covered in plastic wrap. We ended up leaving the dough in the mixer bowl and just putting a plastic wrap over top because, you know, one less dish and all of that. Once the dough has been in the refrigerator for at least an hour, then it's time to take it out and start cutting the cookies. To give ourselves a head start, we preheated the oven to 400 degrees. Next, we started making the icing for the cookies. We again used our favorite mixing droid for the icing. We started out by placing 2 egg whites in the bowl and then mix until frothy. Once you've done that, it's time to add the confectioner sugar a little at a time. Now we're mixing the icing until it's thick and spreadable. The recipe says to place 1/3 of the icing in a separate bowl. Add black food coloring to the reserve icing. This black icing will be used to make the Jack Skellington face. We skipped this step because we're adding a sparkle gel frosting for the face. So far, we don't have a good feeling about this icing. It's a wee bit lumpy and not at all looking like the picture. At this point, we realize that we haven't put in the almond extract. Almond extract is listed in the ingredients, but it's not listed in any of the directions. So I'm not really sure at what point we should have added the almond extract, but channeling our favorite Rat Remy, we go ahead and add it at this point. We continue to mix the icing and it just keeps getting thicker and stiffer. We're really not having any luck. We put the icing in the refrigerator, hoping it would chill out and save itself. We decided to move on to rolling the dough and cutting the cookies. We started by sprinkling flour on the countertop. I take the dough out of the plastic wrap and lay it on top of the flour. I thought I had a rolling pin, but I guess I don't. So ended up using a wine bottle for our rolling pin. Classy, huh? After putting flour on the countertop, I said let's go all in and put flour all over the wine bottle. We rolled the dough out smooth and even and then used a circle cookie cutter to cut circles in the dough. By the way, my rolling pin is a bottle of Line 39. It's a Cabernet. Next time you're at Disney's Hollywood Studios, stop by Baseline Tap House for a glass or 2 of Line 39 on tap. If you're a full-grown mouse, that is. Once we filled my cookie sheet with cookies, we then put them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes on 400 degrees. After we put the first batch in the oven, we continued cutting more cookies until we used all of the dough. After we baked the cookies and they cooled down, it was icing time. Here we have 2 cookies that we're ready to ice. Let's talk about this icing for a second. We had a hard time keeping it from basically becoming a solid hunk of sugar. We ended up putting it in the microwave for a minute to soften it up. Now we're racing against time to keep the icing malleable. It wouldn't even stick to the cookie. Not sure what happened or what went wrong. If you know or have any ideas, kindly comment below. Now it's starting to stiffen up again, and it still won't stick to the cookie. We ended up taking the icing completely off the cookie. We put it back in the microwave for another minute and attempted this for a second time. Once it comes out of the microwave, it's really soft and acts like normal icing, but once it starts to cool off, it hardens and won't stick to the cookie. This insanity goes on for a little while longer, and then I again, listening to Remy, said the heck with it, slap some icing on here the best we can and hope it sticks. So that's what we did. Now it's time to draw Jack Skellington's face with the sparkle gel. In a chef-like epiphany, I remembered that I had a tub of Duncan Hines creamy cream cheese frosting. Duncan Hines to the rescue. Okay, let's reboot. As you can see, we've already iced 4 cookies with the Duncan Hines frosting. So far, this is going well. Like I said earlier, I'm decorating the Jack Skellington face with the black sparkle gel that comes in a tube. We felt like this would be easier than trying to separate the icing and then dyeing it. I'm really glad we did because the frosting from scratch did not turn out well. Now that we're using the cream cheese frosting, it spreads smoothly onto the cookie. From here, we use the sparkle gel to draw Jack Skellington's face. We thought these turned out pretty well and had a blast making these cookies. I will link the recipe below along with everything used to make these cookies. Also, if you have any advice or ideas as to why the icing did not turn out, please let me know. Don't forget to like and follow, and remember, adventure is out there.